All right, so today we're diving into something that affects us all: fear, motivation, and personality. It's fascinating how psychology explains the drivers behind our actions. Let's start with fear. It's not just a negative feeling, it can actually be a powerful motivator. I remember this study back in the 70s, where researchers took two groups of people and put them in a scary environment. One group was told that their fear responses would help them escape dangerous situations. The second group, however, was told that fear was just an emotion, kind of like sadness or joy. The first group performed better in the task. It's wild how the understanding of fear can significantly change our performance.
Wow, that's really interesting. So if fear can be a motivator, does that mean we can sort of harness it? I'm just thinking about, my own life, how much my fear of failing at my job motivates me to work super hard. But what if the fear just paralyzes people instead, right?
Absolutely, and that's a fantastic question. Fear can go both ways, motivational for some and paralyzing for others. It really comes down to personality. For instance, take the study of introverts and extroverts. An introvert might feel overwhelmed in a high-pressure, fear-inducing situation, while an extrovert might thrive in the chaos. I once had this friend who was terrified of speaking in public. But after taking an improv class, she learned to channel that fear into excitement when she's on stage. It's like turning on a light in a dark room.
Ooh, that's cool. So that reminds me of those episodes of The Office when Michael Scott had to give speeches. He was always so fired up, but then he'd get these crazy panic moments, Like, how can someone practically bomb a speech with such confidence? Is that a personality trait or something else?
Right? And that is a perfect example. Michael Scott is such a vivid character, embodying both confidence and fear. He, like many people, is caught between wanting to impress and the dread of failing. His over-the-top enthusiasm stems from a deep fear of being unliked or irrelevant, which often drives his ridiculous behavior. It illustrates the paradox of personality in social settings. People can thrive or dive, depending on how they handle their fears.
Yeah. So it's like some folks embrace it and others just avoid it? What makes the difference, I wonder? Is there a specific moment or experience that sort of flips the switch?
Exactly. There's often a turning point. It could be a supportive mentor, an experience that shifts their perspective, kind of like a full circle moment. I had a colleague who was terrified of networking. One day, she attended a conference where she met an industry leader who shared their own stories of struggle and failure. It completely transformed her approach. Suddenly, she saw networking as building connections rather than a terrifying ordeal.
Wow. So it's all about perspective. That's like how riding a roller coaster can be terrifying, but if you talk about it with friends afterward, it becomes this cool story. Is that why people often say, face your fears? To create those, growth moments?
Exactly. Facing fears can open doors to growth that you never knew existed. That's the power of motivation tied to personality. It's kind of like, think of fear as a door. If you're willing to open it, you might find a whole new world. But if you avoid it, you might miss out on some incredible opportunities.
I love that analogy. It's like in video games, when you unlock new levels when you face the bosses. Ooh. But is there, a limit to how much fear is actually healthy for motivation?
Great question. A little fear can certainly sharpen your focus and drive, like when athletes perform under pressure. However, if fear becomes chronic, it can lead to burnout or anxiety. So finding that balance is key. Just like in cooking, too little seasoning makes the dish bland, but too much can ruin it, right?
Yeah. So it's all about finding the right mix of ingredients in our lives too, right? That makes total sense.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating topic that shapes our everyday lives, often without us even realizing it. We're talking about the hidden forces behind our decisions, habits, emotions, and those sneaky unconscious biases that creep in when we least expect them. I like to think of our decisions as navigating through a dense forest. There are paths we've walked on before, those are our habits, while the underbrush, that's our emotions and biases. You can't always see them clearly, but they're always there, shaping our journey.
Wow. I love that analogy. So are you saying that, each path represents a habit we've formed?
Exactly. Picture this. Every habit is like a well-trodden path. The more we walk it, the clearer it becomes. But then, out of nowhere, a sudden emotional reaction can change your direction. For example, think about how you react when you receive unexpected criticism. If you've always responded calmly, that path is well worn. But one negative comment might get you lost in those emotional thickets.
I can totally see that. So if I'm more prone to take things personally, it kind of leads me off the path, right? Almost like you're aiming for a destination, but then, bam! An obstacle throws you off course? Laughs.
Absolutely. And did you know that studies show we make around 35,000 decisions a day? That's insane when you think about it. Some of those are just habitual. But others, they're driven by how we feel at that moment.
Whoa, 35,000 decisions? I'm trying to track how many times I've said yes to snacks today. But how do our emotions and biases merge with these decisions? In a real-world example, can you think of a time when that actually played out?
Oh, definitely. Let's say you're at the grocery store and you spot an item you've always loved. Maybe it's those gourmet chips. But then, out of nowhere, a feeling of guilt emerges because you just started a diet. So in that moment, you might override that habit of grabbing the chips because your emotions signal, wait, that's not aligned with your goals.
That's cool. It's like a little internal battle. What if you were really craving those chips, though? Wouldn't it be even harder to stick to that decision? Laughs.
Absolutely, and that's where biases come into play. Think about the sunk cost fallacy, where you think, I've already bought the chips, so I should eat them, right? This bias causes us to make decisions based on past investments, instead of focusing on what's best moving forward.
Oh man, I totally resonate with that. So I've totally fallen for that when I've bought concert tickets I didn't want to go to anymore. And what about those times you keep filling your cart online? Just because you browsed for an hour, you feel like you have to buy something, right?
Yes, that's a perfect example. Those emotional peaks during online shopping can lead you to justify purchases that don't actually serve you. It's almost like we dig ourselves deeper into the forest when we get swayed by desires that don't align with our actual needs.
Right. So what strategies can we use to navigate these emotional pitfalls and biases? How do we avoid getting lost in that forest? Laughs.
Great question. One practical approach is to practice mindfulness. When you find yourself at that decision point, maybe it's in the grocery aisle or online shopping, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself if this decision aligns with your true values.
Yeah, stopping to take a breath could make a huge difference. It's almost like pulling out a map before wandering too far down a trail. But how do you develop that mindfulness habit?
It starts small. You might begin with daily reflections, asking yourself what choices yesterday didn't serve you, what emotions influenced them, and how you can make different choices moving forward. Over time, you'll begin to notice those biases and habits before they lead you off the path.
Wow, that's super insightful. So it's about being aware, right? Tuning into the signals your mind and body are sending, because they can really guide you through that forest of decisions.
Perfectly put. Awareness is like having a compass in the woods. It doesn't guarantee you won't encounter obstacles, but it gives you a fighting chance to navigate through them.
I'm honestly thinking about my next grocery trip now. Haha. This is going to be life-changing. Just no chips.
Haha, that's the spirit. It's all about making conscious decisions. Thanks for exploring these hidden forces with me today.
Totally. I can't wait to apply this to my daily decisions. See you next time.